Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. I'm Ruben Abati.
I am Oji Akbi. There is a mainstream feminine beauty ideal, the social constructed notion that physical attractiveness is one of women's most important assets and something all women should strive to achieve and maintain. This results in pressure to conform to certain definition of beautiful. These ideals have been correlated with depression, eating disorders, and low self-esteem, starting from an adolescent age and continuing into adulthood. Our next guest, British Ghanaian plus-size model Philomina Kwao, is redefining what beauty means.
Hi, Philomina.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I think I'm a very lucky man.
You are?
I mean, here I am seated with two models, right? And you guys represent two different ideas.
We do.
Of who a model should be.
Yes.
What is the thing about this definition of what is beautiful in the world that the two of you belong to?
I mean, for so long, the concept of beauty has been very, 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 very narrow. And I was born in London, raised in the West. So the perpetuation of beauty that I've always seen has been fairer-skinned or white, very slim, a certain type of relaxed, straight hair. And growing up in that sort of setting and scenario, it can make you feel like you're not worthy, like you're not good enough, irrespective of what you know or what you've achieved. Because you don't look like what society says beautiful is, you're just not good enough. And I think there's been such an amazing movement led by social media that shows women all around the world that there are different types of beauty and every woman is beautiful in her own way. And in my industry as a plus model, a lot of brands are recognizing that that's a powerful thing. Women come in many different sizes. So why do you only showcase one type of beauty? So now you have different sizes of models, different shapes, different shades, different colors with different hair textures, and it's a beautiful thing. It's allowing women to feel included in beauty. It's giving the women the confidence to feel like they can reach their full potential.
Well, a few weeks ago on this program, I mean,
Yes.
we focused on this idea.
Okay.
When we talked about, you know, even women who have disabilities
Yes.
or who are physically challenged, now making the front pages,
Yes.
you know, as models, going on the catwalk and all of that. So, but I mean, you as an advocate for this diversity,
Yes.
what's your motivation? Is it your own, in terms of your own, you know, personal thing,
Yeah.
or it's an ideological thing, an African thing? Because, you know, in Africa, we don't have problem with plus size women. You know, African men will say, oh, it's good to have something to hold.
Yes. Oh, they should have given birth to me here. I guess that would have been, you know. But I think I fell into it. So I actually started modeling in the middle of my master's degree when one of my really good friends, she was an ex-Miss South Africa, she was like, you could be a really good model. And at that time I was like, oh, I'm not skinny, what do you mean? But she was like, no, you really could, and there's something called plus size modeling. Sent my pictures into an agency, they signed me, and I guess 7 years later, here I am. At first, because of my academic background, I thought fashion was very fickle, but it was a way of traveling, and I was young and I liked the travel and new experiences, new culture. But the more I met the women that were following me and my fans, the more I realized how powerful it was to actually go into a shop in New York or London or anywhere and see someone who looks like you. It makes you feel like, oh yes, me too, I'm bigger, but I'm beautiful. I'm dark-skinned, but I'm beautiful. I have natural hair, but I'm beautiful. And when I started to interact with my fans on that level, it became a personal thing for me. Then I realized that, no, this job is bigger than myself. I'm actually helping women around the world. I'm empowering them to take agency in their looks. People will message me and say, oh, I stopped bleaching my skin because of you. I stopped being bulimic or anorexic because of you. Oh, I finally decided to wear my natural hair because of you. And it's powerful. And I realized that, you know, it's not just about me being pretty in front of the camera or walking down the runway. It's actually about giving women hope.
Are there any challenges in terms of color? And, you know, in relation to job offers?
Yeah, where do I even begin? Oh, it's incredible. There's just so many challenges. There's a challenge of size. There's a challenge of being dark-skinned. In the West, there was a typical type of dark-skinned woman that they liked, and usually they're from Sudan, East Africa, very tall.
Pure melanin.
Pure melanin, very dark. And then when it comes to plus size, they prefer the white woman, the curvier white woman. And so I started, and I was dark, my head was shaved, I had a more commercial look, and I was plus, and nobody knew. I didn't work for a whole year. Nobody knew what to do with me. They would be like, we're not sure. And you know, America just has its own race problems. So like, oh, her look is a bit too wild. It's not friendly enough. It's not girl next door. They just didn't know what to do. Then Lupita got famous. And Lupita, I guess, has a more commercial look. And they defined her as one of, you know, the most beautiful people in the world. And all of a sudden it was like, oh, dark-skinned girl, shaved head, you're the plus-size Lupita. Okay, good. And I went from doing nothing to working every day. And so they're just like, oh yeah, they wanted a plus-size version of that.
Wow, I remember when I saw your Sports Illustrated campaign, Swimming Sexy, back in 2016,
yes.
is it? Yes, and with the 58-year-old and also supermodel Ashley Graham.
Yeah.
That was a groundbreaking moment
for
body diversity in the fashion industry.
It was.
Because all of a sudden, I mean, Sports Illustrated over the years is known to actually define what, you know, the body type is for a swimsuit model. And here you are, flaunting your body, and everyone... tell me what that meant for you.
Do you know, I didn't realize what Sports Illustrated was in the beginning, because I'm from the UK, and Sports Illustrated isn't big in the UK, it's major in the US. So when they told me that I got the job, I was like, okay, swimwear job. And we had the most incredible time on the job. And then it was after I had done the job and the magazine came out and there was all the press and the events. And then I was like, wow, so this is really, really something. This is the first time you're having a black plus-size body in your magazine, ever.
Yes.
You've never done it before. And I was really humbled by that. I was like humbled, firstly, that they picked me to do it. And then secondly, by the response. I told you, it always goes down to the fans. I can do all the jobs in the world, but when women and young children come up to me in the street or they message me and they tell me that I love myself so much more because of you, it's a blessing.
Now, was that your big break? Was that your big break? Or?
No, my big break was with Lane Bryant. So Lane Bryant are a major plus-size brand in the US. And they used me and they decided to, they have big campaigns. So they do billboards in New York and on buses and massive campaigns, and that was my first big campaign, which was,
But what's the best thing, the good thing about being a plus-size model? I guess you don't have to diet, you don't have to go to the gym, you don't have to worry about your weight.
It's not that easy.
I have a trainer who comes to my house 4 or 5 times a week at 4 a.m. every day. You have to, the same requirements for a straight size model, the same for plus. So when you're a size, you have to stay in that size.
Okay, you can't afford to just balloon. Right?
No.
Think that the market will still...
No, and you also have to stay in shape. So there still are the beauty requirements, the height requirements, the size requirements. They're still there, they don't go away. And also the job is very intense. So I rack up hundreds of thousands of air miles every single year. So it's a very physically demanding job and you have to be fit and healthy to do it. So yeah, no, it's hard. In fact, it's even harder because a lot of people are still prejudiced against plus size. They feel like you're not a real model, you're not worthy, so you still have to prove yourself. You almost have to do more than the straight size models to book the job.
So you're in Nigeria. This is your first time in Nigeria.
It is.
Right? How does it feel to be here?
I mean, my first experience was actually in Jos, in Plateau State. And I was really, really surprised. I've just come back from there. I got there back last night. So beautiful.
Okay, and you're here for the Women for Women international campaign. Tell us what that is all about.
So Women for Women
and you're a global ambassador.
I am a global ambassador for them. Women for Women is an organization that started in 1993, and they've been working with women around the world in conflict zones. So Syria, Afghanistan, Rwanda, they've been there. What they do is they put the women in the area through a 12-month program. And in this 12-month program, they learn literacy, numeracy, they learn how to speak up for themselves, they get a monthly stipend, vocational training, it's a lot. And then on top of that, they involve their spouses and their male relatives to also educate them on why it's important for women to have rights. They're in Nigeria, but not a lot of people know that they're in Nigeria. So when the opportunity came, I was like, well, where would you like to visit? And I said Nigeria, I'm from Ghana, so I consider Nigeria like, you know, similar
home. Just 40 minutes from here by flight.
So they work in the Jos, the Plateau State region, with the women who've been affected by the Fulani herdsmen violence in that area. So I decided to go and visit, and it's been life-changing. I will document my journey on social media, on my Instagram and my social media handles, but I don't think I'll ever be the same again.
Well, I'm curious. I mean, when people talk about models,
yes,
oftentimes, you know, it's about the fairy tale side of it. And you've talked about traveling and all that, photo shoot, appearing on the cover pages of magazines. What has been your experience? What have you seen about the dark side of it? Because I see a lot of young girls, they want to be a model, they are in front of the mirror, they say they look fine. But what is the other side, the dark side of it that you have seen?
My saving grace is that I didn't grow up wanting to be a model. I am an economist by training. I fell into it. I also started a lot later. For a lot of the straight size girls, which is the slimmer size modeling, they start when they're in their teens. As a teenager, you don't know yourself and you don't know the world. And oftentimes they'll put them on planes and put them in different countries by themselves. They're exposed. Being a model is being a business. You are a business. And I think a lot of women don't understand what it means to be young women, especially young girls, don't understand what it means to be a business. Money management. So knowing what to do when you don't have money in a country, or owing your agency. So when an agency flies you from London to New York, for example, that ticket is on you. And if you don't understand how to read your contract, you don't understand what is going on, you'll get to New York and you'll be tens of thousands of dollars in debt. And it's luck as well. So if you get to New York and you don't get the jobs, then you're in debt. Also, you know, just the fast-paced life, eating disorders, I guess, drug abuse, being away from home for long periods of time. My entire family is in London and I live in New York, so that loneliness, the same things that affect every woman around the world are the same things that affect models, except it's amplified because you're in a public space.
And a serious issue with sexual harassment. We're in the age of the Me Too era.
We are. I mean, sexual harassment exists in every industry. It's there, and yes, it is there in modeling.
I mean, modeling. Beautiful women all over the place, and powerful men who have to take decisions.
Like you said, I'm glad you said powerful. It's about power, and it is there. And there are people that take advantage of girls. There are people that take advantage of opportunities. I haven't experienced that, but I know many people who have. And this age of Me Too is wonderful because it's empowering women and men, because men also, you know, are affected by this, to speak out about their experience.
Can you share one of your most challenging experience in your modeling career?
Hair and makeup.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, it's an underlying racism where hair and makeup teams and creative teams do not understand Black beauty. So they don't know, for example, foundation. They don't know how to do your hair. They don't know how to think and make you beautiful. It's like you go into a job and they'll have 4 pages of inspiration for the white model, and then for you, they're like, oh, she's fine as she is, that's fine. Because they just can't see you. They know they need you because you're a Black model and, you know, they want the diversity, but they still don't see you. I think that's my most challenging part, to be seen and actually acknowledged on a daily basis, even if you are out there.
Well, what are the other things you would like to see in the industry? One, we have, you know, plus-size models now being recognized. We have diversity in terms of color. We have diversity in terms of, you know, whether you're handicapped or you are not handicapped. What, again, do you think you would like to see in the industry to make it more comfortable, more inclusive?
More Black plus-size models. Black plus-size models. There's so many plus-size models, but about 98% of them are white. When I first started...
If more Black plus-size models come, won't they reduce your market?
Oh, God.
You're encouraging competition.
I am, because competition is healthy.
Yes.
It's healthy. I look like me. We're 2 beautiful Black women sitting here. We don't look alike. So how is she going to take my job? It doesn't really work like that.
Yeah.
There's so many shades of beauty. And the thing is, if you're good for one job, you're good for the job. And if you're not good for the job, then you're not good for it. You take it and say, okay, it wasn't for me, and you move on. But we need more Black plus-size models, because right now, the plus-size movement is very, very white. even though I feel like it's more traditional to see a black woman who is plus size. We need more black plus size models.
And you're an activist, and
Yes.
you talk about the need for open dialogue, correct,
Yes.
and real inclusivity in the movement towards equal rights for women. How far have you gone with your campaign?
I think it's just every little thing. Every little time I'm given an opportunity like this, you guys have graciously had me on your program today, and you've given me a chance to talk about my experiences. And I think every time that I'm given a chance to talk about my experiences or write about my experiences, because I also write, then...
Where do you write?
So Huffington Post, the Metro
Yes, that's
UK,
right. Okay.
which is like a daily newspaper in the UK. I write about my experiences. And I just use that as an opportunity to talk about things that are unfair in society and issues that personally affected me.
For example?
Skin bleaching.
Okay.
Relaxing your hair, being an African woman in diaspora, you know, race relations, being an educated black woman, trying to make it in a world where it's predominantly concentrated by men. Like I said, I'm trained as an economist. I was one of 4 women in my class, and the only black one. So, you know, things like that, it's leveling the ground and using myself as an example to level the ground to show other women that, no, you can do it, and there is a way for you. I just like to use my life as an example.
So what do you say about skin bleaching for women? Because, I mean, this is a hot topic.
It is.
You don't want to hear my comment?
No, I was just asking.
You may actually be surprised to hear that I bleached my skin for several years. I did.
Really?
Yeah. I did during my teenage years, because that's why this is why diversity and representation is important, because if you are a young girl and you are constantly being bombarded by one specific type of beauty, you think that that is what you need to look like to succeed. And I'm bright. So I had so many other things going for me, but I felt that because I was dark, I needed to be lighter to be successful. And the thing that was even worse is that when I was bleaching my skin, my own community would commend me, "Oh, your skin looks so nice.
You're glowing.
Oh, you're glowing.
Wow.
Your complexion is bright. What are you doing?" And it's that sort of intrinsic brainwashing that's so dangerous. I mean, there's so many chemicals in a lot of the things that are on sale. They're harmful to us, and we need to stop doing it.
Well, the thing is, it's not just about women. There are men who also bleach. And here in Nigeria, we have some notorious examples of men who bleach. But I like your self-confidence.
Yeah, it's a slow conversation, but the more we can talk about these things honestly, and the more we can showcase different types of beauty, the more people will feel comfortable in themselves. When you have people that feel comfortable in themselves and they're confident, the growth is incredible. People have agency, they have power, they make real change in their lives.
So how did you stop bleaching, and why? Why did you stop it? I mean, how did that come about? I mean...
It's a funny story.
Yes.
I ran out. I was traveling. I couldn't get any more.
Yeah.
Started getting darker. Realized, actually, this isn't so bad. Started modeling as well. And at that point, I wasn't bleaching when I was found. And they loved my skin. They praised it. So I was just like, this is fine. It's not bad. It'll be good. And then I just stopped. And then, and then I realized that this really isn't so bad. Why was I even doing that in the first place? So yeah, that's basically why I stopped, because I ran out when I went to New York.
Well, thank you very much. We've enjoyed talking to you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and I like your confidence. I like your poise.
Thank you.
And we can only wish you well in your career.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, enjoy your time in Nigeria, Philomina.
Thank you so
Have
much.
fun.
Yeah.
I will.
Such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank
good
you.
luck. Congratulations on everything that you've achieved.
Thank you so much.
It's time now for a short break on the morning show. When we return, Arise News analyst Emmanuel Afeni will join us with a review of the top stories on today's newspapers. Stay with us.